Hi everyone, today we're going to be demonstrating a game called BrilliAnts. Every time I hear it I want to say BrilliAnts! It's from Shire Games and designed by Maxime Tardif. The game plays 1 to 6 and there's two sides of the board. There's a 2 to 3 player side of the board and a 4 to 6 player side of the board, and we'll also use this side for the solitaire game. So the game scales really well, and unlike some games where territory is bounded by lines to try and bring the board in for different numbers of players, in this game you just block off a certain number using these big tiles. I really like this idea. It makes the map look a lot cleaner, a lot tidier. Okay, reducing the game board to bring players into conflict when there's a lower player count. What I'm going to be showing you today in the demonstration is the solitaire variant. So I've also set up a single player board. The aim of the game is to complete objectives. These are objective cards, and the objectives are fulfilled by collecting resources. For the multiplayer game there's some bonuses for the players who complete the most of a certain type of objective. We're not going to need those in the solo game, so I'll put those to one side. There's also different player abilities, so there's different species of ants. Again, once more, in the solo game you don't necessarily use these. Okay, so there's different species of ants with different abilities. Right. Now on the surface it looks like a family game, and it is, it's a great family game, but what I like about it is they've introduced different levels of difficulty. So you've got a children's game, a basic game, an intermediate game and an advanced game, and with the solo variant as well, this game offers quite a lot of playability for different types of gamers and groups. If you've ever played Mermes or Takenoko, you'll feel there's some similarities here. The only other thing to point out is this is very much prototype, so these ant tokens that you see here, the plan is to have those as little miniatures in the final game. And obviously this artwork is, the printing's quite dull as opposed to the brightness you see on this glossy card, because it's just prototype stuff. You're also going to see some actual changes to the artwork, maybe some more detail on the board, rearrangement I think of the player board, these underground tiles, just to make it a little bit more intuitive. For now though, let's dive in and get playing and show you how this works. In the solitaire game we're going to start with our entrance here in the middle. We're playing the advanced variant in the solo rules. In all other variants, these objective cards, there's one of each colour. You have like the harvesting, the gatherer ones, the soldier ones, and the digger ones, the architect ones. And they'll be in 3 different piles, and you'll get different numbers of cards from each pile. In the advanced rules you just shuffle them all together, so you don't really know which objectives you're going to get. I think in the final game they're going to change these so that all the card backs are the same, so you can't actually see them, tell them apart when you're shuffling. So we'll just do that and we'll give it a cut. And there'll be 4 objectives that we'll be looking to complete in the game. Okay, and each one of these objectives is going to give you a points score. On the advanced rules, your multiplayer, you're competing over these 4 objectives. In all the other games, each player has their own stack of objectives. And to complete objectives, we'll be collecting resources and taking the number of rewards. You also get these special cards that give you abilities. Now in the multiplayer game you'll use a drafting mechanism and you'll end up with 5 cards. In the solitaire variant the rules say you can pick whichever 5 you want. I'm just going to draw 5 just for the demonstration. But different cards can be used in the day and at night, and they'll be giving you specials. We'll look at those once we get into the demo. And your colony starts out with just 3 ants, and you can choose whichever ants you want. I'm just going to take one of each, so I've got soldier, I'll take a harvester and a digger. We put them at the top of our colony, just below the entrance to entranceway number 1. We'll flip the day-night to see how the game begins, whether it begins as daytime or nighttime. It's going to begin as night time. That means all our little ants here will start on their night side. You can see there's a darker night side. Like I say, in the final game there'll be miniatures with like a clickable base, I think, that will switch it from day to night. The final piece of setup is a random draw bag that's only used to drive the AI of the predator movement in the solitaire game. What you do here is you place one of each type of resource that each ant can harvest in this bag, and those predators are going to be attacking those terrains, and that's kind of a neat mechanism, because what it means is that the predators are kind of responding to the behaviour of the players. So for example, I've got the soldier here, and the soldier can take down these three types of resources, this caterpillar, grub, the ladybird, and this ground or flower beetle here. Okay, so those are the three resources that the warrior, the soldier ants can take down. The harvester ants, they go out and harvest fruits. So we've got some blueberries, some strawberries, and some mushrooms. And then the diggers, they harvest dirt, and there's three types of dirt. Since I drew one of each type of ant, I'm going to take one of each type of resource. And we're ready for the first turn of the game. We start off by spinning the windrows, which will tell us what type of weather we have. Okay, it says we're here. Each of these weather types is going to give a +1 movement to ants of those types. So for this one, it's going to be +1 for the soldiers. In sunny, it's going to be +1 for the harvesters. And when it's rainy, it's +1 for the diggers. We'll have 6 rounds, 3 nights, 3 days. Each round we get a number of actions. We move a predator, we give birth, and then we get to move all our ants. For my next action, I'm going to give birth. And I'm going to give birth to a soldier ant, I think. I think the rules call them hunters, farmers, and architects. I prefer soldiers, harvesters, and diggers, but there you go. So all I do here is I take a tile from up here. Now in the multiplayer game, you're competing over these. In the solitaire game, you get to give birth to one of these. I'm going to give birth to a soldier ant. So I place this here. I take a soldier ant. We'll place this ant in the Queen's chamber on the birth tile. And because we've given birth to a soldier ant, we need to repopulate the bag. So we've one of each of the type of resources that soldiers can gather. Our ground beetle, our ladybird, our caterpillar, our grub. There's a shuffle. And we turn it, and we're in the night time right now. So we'll turn it to its night side. That means I can actually move it. Okay, I can only move ants that are showing the night side. I'm going to leave him here for the moment. I'm going to move this soldier who's sitting up here at the top of the nest at the entranceway. So you can follow this up to the entranceway out of entrance number 1. And it costs no movement to travel up there. But now I've got up to 3 more. No, it's 4 because of the weather. I get a bonus. But I'm looking for some beetles and so on, right? So I'm going to actually travel just here to this ladybird. I could have obviously moved a little bit further afield up here, but if I did, what happens then? When I gather that resource, I replace it with a grass tile on above ground, okay? The difference is, if I gather next to the nest hole, then instead I place one of my pheromone tiles. So that's what I'm going to do. These are going to give me points. So I grab a ladybird, I place a pheromone down, and what that means is next time I move and gather, if I place my ant and gather next to a nest hole or another pheromone, I can extend my pheromone trail. In the basic game, you get to place pheromones wherever you are. The other way you can turn empty into pheromone. Let's say I moved over here and turn that into gathered here. It's not next to my nest, so it turns into grass. But if later I place a pheromone here, let's say, I walk across an empty piece, right? I don't even have to end my turn here, just walk across it. Then I get to replace that with a pheromone. Okay, the empty one. Right, pretty neat, huh? So as it stands, yeah, I'm going to gather ladybird. Actually, I'm going to take this one. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take this one. We place the ladybird in our colony. We've gathered that resource. The other change to the solo rules is every time you gather a resource, you draw from the predator bag. Okay, so let's see what we get. It's the stone type dirt. The worm is heading over here. This is the closest one to our ants. We'll put this back in the bag, and the predators gather some stone. Any resources that the predators collect will put aside, because if they ever collect enough to complete an objective, they'll do so immediately and take those points away from us. For our next action, I'm going to move this soldier out from the Queen's chamber. So it's 1 to move here, 0 to move up to the next exit. You have a movement of 4, remember it's 3 plus 1 for the bonus. But I don't need it, I'm just going to move over here and gather this ground beetle. So I place a pheromone, flip him to the day side, collect a ground beetle. Let's draw from the bag. And we get fruits and blueberries. That means the grasshopper is going to move, and the closest blueberries to an ant, there's 2, so I can choose where. So any one of these really. Let's put him here. Cover that with grass. He's eaten the blueberries. Let's give him some blueberries from the supply. I do want to claim this one. I can't do that yet because this is a soldier ant objective. I need to move a soldier ant to the headquarters, which is here, headquarters. When I go here also, you get to draw 2 new objectives, place 1, discard the other, and thereby keep the objectives populated. And you can go there any time and do that, so you could actually build up the number of objectives. Let's send my harvester out and try go and harvest these fruit. Let's do that. Grab my harvester, take him outside. I think we'll go and grab these mushrooms. So we'll place a pheromone, flip him over, take some mushrooms from the supply, draw from the bag. It's quite tough solo game. You see it's simple. It's a ground beetle, and of course that means we're moving the spider now. And the closest ground beetle is this one. So cover that up. The spider moves in. Oh, it's getting quite tight here. They're blocking my movement. And we'll give them a ground beetle. Got one more ant left to move. My digger. And the thing about diggers is this is empty, so the worm's excavated here, so I could move down into here. Although they've got 3 movement, you can't move through. This you've got to dig through. So the first piece of dirt that you come across, you have to dig. So either way, I can't move in here because the worm's there. I think I'm going to go past through here and then dig here. So I take one of those dirt resources, cover that up as dug, and flip him over so he's moved. And now of course draw from the bag as we've gathered the resource. It's a grub, so we'll have the spider scuttle over here, cover that up. We'll give me my grub. And now it's going to end the round. So we'll flip that over. Put this back. Flip this over. And we're ready to begin again. So let's spin for the weather. It's sunny. All our harvesters get +1 movement. Just want to cover a few more rules before we wrap up. Let's have our soldier move and have him go back down into the nest hole. That's 1. Which puts him here, and then 2 into the HQ. And from here I can now spend my resources if I wish. So I'm going to spend these 2 back to the supply. Take this objective. That's going to score me 6 points. Good job. Move our score marker up. Now I get to draw 2 more. And normally in the lower, less advanced games, if you put a soldier in here, then you have to draw soldier objectives. But remember, these are all muddled up. So we take 2 and we choose which one we want. So we've got a 3 berries or a 1 ground beetle. And we can put that one in and discard the rest. So if I put that one in, then the predator's going to pick it up. So I'll put that one down. This one goes on the bottom of the deck. We'll flip our ant to the night side to show that he's ready to move next time. Next I'm going to move my digger, and we're going to go down this way. We've actually got some underground pheromone tiles. Maybe we should place those instead. That's what's intended. We'll dig here. We'll get this dark clay type dirt. And let me draw from the bag to see who moves. It's a ladybird, so it's the spider. The closest spot looks like here. Oh dear. Don't pull the legs off your spiders, kids. These are kind of, I'm sorry, these are kind of self-printed, 3D printer. These not the final quality. That leg keeps falling off. Alright, so the spider comes in here and grabs a ladybird. Good job we took that objective, otherwise he'd have just grabbed it. Now I do have some cards here that I can play. I can move this spider if I wish. Let's do that. You can play these at any time on your turn. Let's move the spider out of the way. We'll send him all over there for now. Obviously these are going to be more helpful in the multiplayer game because you can kind of send him off to get in the way of other players. That was a ladybird. Now I think I'll, sorry spider, I'll fix that in a bit. I'm just going to finish up playing here and I'll come back in just a moment to show you my final score. Welcome back, that's it, I've reached the end of round 6 and I'm afraid my score's pretty pitiful in terms of objectives. But once you've completed, you do get to count all your pheromones and exits. I managed to build all 3 of my extra exits. They have to be built within 3 tiles, within 3 hexes on another exit. I'm currently sitting at 64. Each one of these is going to give me a point, so I've got 20 here. That's going to take me up to 84, which isn't quite enough for a victory. You're looking for 100. So it's pretty tough, it's very challenging, but I'm starting to learn some of the nuances, and it plays out really quickly. And as a family game, and as a solitaire game, okay, I don't think that the solitaire game is something I'm going to get out. It's not very deep, right? It's not very deep at all, but, if you want to get it out and the kids want to play, because, sometimes solitaire games are a little bit too advanced for young ones. If you get them this game as a present, then they can sit down and play on their own, even though the solo variant does use the most advanced of the rules. That was BrilliAnts from Maxime Tardif. Go and check it out on Kickstarter. Thanks for watching.